Agents have a need for practice building tools, things to help build their clientele, to be more effective at point of sale and stay connected to those clients that they have been able to generate. Our One Source program is designed just for that, so that you can be in business for yourself but not by yourself. Today we're going to talk about 101, actually the first 20 of 101 and then some practice improving ideas. It's really a series within a series. I've spent my career interacting with top-level producers, MDRT caliber, writers of life insurance, annuity, and other products. And they have told me over and over again the things that they think are the real difference makers. And I've collected that in this series. It could be some of the sorts of things that you already do, and congratulations, or that you've tried and it didn't work for you, but that's okay. Or you used to do when you were so successful you quit doing it. Maybe it's some that you've never considered. I will touch on 20 of them today, and obviously they're going to be quick hitters, short few minutes on each one. And if you are interested in learning more about that, give us a call, because Financial Brokerage can help. Our objectives are to help you increase your sales, build bigger premiums on average, hopefully improve the net profit for your practice, improve your bottom line, be more effective, be more efficient, improve your ratios, gain instant credibility with your prospects and with new referrals, build trust, build and maintain client loyalty. Don't just beat the competition, be the competition. Get on top, stay on top. And if I were to sum that up, it would be ways that you can outthink, outdo, outachieve all the others that are trying to do, at least ostensibly, the things that you're doing. So let's just jump right into it. Number one is cross-sell, but do it on purpose. The time to cross-sell is in every interaction. The first interaction, every other time that you meet with a client. And what we find is that the client who has more than one policy with a producer is much more likely to stay with them and to be agreeable to hearing about more and accepting different lines of business, additional sales. Different product lines make it even more likely. So if a producer would use an on-purpose fact-finding approach to identify multiple needs, not necessarily just the ones that you have traditionally and historically written, then the producer who will cross-sell, there will be other business, there will be additional people, there will be referrals. You have to stay in touch to make it happen, though, so an active approach that helps keep you in front of the clients is necessary. One thing that helps in a cross-selling discussion is to be able to describe your practice as one that is multiple needs, multiple products, multiple years, staying in touch, and schedule those follow-ups. Schedule the next follow-up when the first policy is delivered, and stay in touch using a wave contact strategy of ideas and newsletters and clippings and all the other sorts of things that the successful producers, those MDRT level guys, do as a matter of course. It's important to have a client management system to help you deliver on those promises. Nothing worse than to promise something and then not stay in touch, not because you didn't want to, not because you didn't intend to, but because you didn't have a way of making sure that it got on your calendar. And one of those follow-ups would be to conduct annual reviews. Top-level producers, without exception almost, do annual reviews, at least suggest to their clientele that they ought to be doing an annual review, because they know that Americans buy life insurance 7 times in a lifetime, and maybe it's more today, but that's been traditionally the number that Limra talked about. And 7 times is a lot. Too often Americans end up putting that business with different agents because the first agent doesn't call back. We know that 20% of Americans buy life insurance every year, 20%. So if I had 250 clients today, I would know that 20% of those, or 50, would be buying life insurance again every year. I just don't know which 50 it is. So it would make sense, behoove me to get in front of each one of those people, or attempt to get in front of each one of those with an annual review, a process that I had thought about and developed, and used some actual forms that help me determine where the needs are. And here's what we find. We get better results. We do get those cross sales. We do get those follow-on sales. We do get referrals at a much higher rate than otherwise. Our persistency is better. You know, and lastly, I suppose it's the right thing to do. We promised it. It's helpful to the clients. They win, we win, everybody wins. Well, once we've sold a policy, it makes sense to make the policy delivery a red letter event. We don't just drop it off. We don't just send it in the mail. We don't just make it an afterthought. We schedule it in advance. We make sure that all parties are present. We follow an agenda. We use a summary. We resell the need. We set up the next sale. We use that occasion to schedule the annual review, and we make sure that we ask for referrals, introductions, endorsements. So if you don't have a sample agenda for how a policy delivery appointment might run, we've got that. Give us a call. We can help. If you don't have an example of a summary, a checklist that you can say, here's the things we need to talk about, give us a call. We can help. And if you aren't as good at getting referrals as you might like or would hope for, give us a call. We can help. We have a referral marketing program that we can put in your hands to help you do just that. It's important then also to know what's important. It's important to know what the blue chips are. Anybody who's played poker with their friends, or at home, and they have the plastic poker chips, the whites, the red, and the blue, they know the blue chips are the ones that are worth more, and we can take that same idea and apply it to the things that successful producers do every day. Those are those high priority activities. Those are the ones that have a disproportionate impact on the result. And a smart producer knows to do them first, to do them always, to do them in great quantity. What are those things? Those blue chips are the ones that either put the producer in front of a prospect or a client, or it's the actions taking place while in front of. So it's the prospecting, the fact-finding, the needs analysis, the closing, and then there's a few others, I suppose, beyond that. But if we stuck to that list of 4 and did those religiously and in large quantities, there's no way we couldn't be successful. They just matter that much more. Those are the few key things. You can count them on one hand. They have a disproportionate impact on your result. They just matter a lot more. This is a tough one. Each of us ought to promise a lot, and we ought to figure out ways to over-deliver. And where we set our expectations, there's really 2 key areas. And the one that's probably even more important is set our own expectations, set our own standards. This is how I'm going to operate. This is what I'm going to do, and it's going to be more than the competition. I'm going to be the competition. And make sure our clients know what those expectations are. And then I need to make sure, if I'm the producer, that I live up to that, probably, and then some. And I have to put processes in place to make sure that I do that. So it's important to organize myself in a way to make that happen. So if you have some interest in that, we can help you here at Financial Brokerage. Give us a call. Producers probably never reach a point where they shouldn't be getting better or getting smarter or getting more accomplished at what they do. Stephen R. Covey wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and one of those 7 habits is what he called sharpen the saw. And he meant you've got a toolkit, and as a producer, your toolkit are the things you know about the market, the things you know about the product, the things that you can do to gather facts, the things that you can do to provide a needs analysis, the tools that you use that you're familiar with. And you ought to keep your toolkit up to date and as he said, sharpen the saw. And what that does is, what it tells us, I guess, is that we're never done getting better, and it'll help us build credibility with our new clients, our old clients, people that are prospects today. Now we can do this through industry programs, CLU, LUTC, those kinds of things, but it doesn't have to be formalized programs. It can be attending the NAPA meeting. It can be going to CE workshops. It can be a reading program, and it could be borrowing the perception from a top producer, hanging on their every word. And if you don't have an active program of getting yourself next to a top producer, taking them to lunch periodically, and probably more than just one, and picking their brain, then we're probably missing a trick, because there are strong people out there who have experienced more than we have and different than we have, and we can use this lifelong learning sitting at the knee of somebody who's done better for longer than we have to get better still ourselves. We're never really done. People who know something about time management say we ought to block our time and go back to those blue chips, and our calendar ought to be loaded with the top priority blue chip items first. Alan Lakin, in his book, How to Get Control of Your Time and Your Life, said use the ABC method, A being top priority, C being the lowest priority, and B being those in between. And he basically said, do the A's. Don't worry about the C's. If you think you have B's, you're probably wrong. They're either A's or C's, and figure it out. And priorities are those things that are client meetings, meetings with new prospects, getting in front of clients, all the activities that help get you in front of those. But as you block your time, make time for exercise, self-improvement, study, that me time stuff. Make room for family time. It's a sad story. There are a number of top producers who are very successful in the business, but not so successful at home, because work always comes first, and the kids and the family are kind of an afterthought. We would hope not to be in that situation. We do have some information and programs here at Financial Brokerage, so if you're interested in how you can block your time, give us a call. We can help. One of the smartest things that a producer can do is spend time on purpose fact-finding, using a prepared tool, build it into every process. If you're really good with the yellow pad, you'd be even better with a prepared on-purpose fact finder. Figure out the one that fits you best. We've got a lot of different ones here. So if you're interested in fact finders, give us a call. We can help. It establishes credibility. It helps you find things out. Now, what a smart producer will do, this says fact find. A smart producer is also interested in, maybe more so, in feelings, because when we talk to a client about their feelings, they'll tell us what's on their mind, and basically they're saying, here's what's important. Pay attention. This is where I want to get to. And if you will pay attention, I'm outlining how the sale will be made. Here's how you close me. Or here's the objections. Pay attention to these, and you will close the sale. Answer these objections in advance, and you won't have any problem making the sale happen. Fact-finding should be part of every process. It should be an on-purpose activity. Yellow pad's good. A prepared form is even better. It'll help set up the sales that we're not able to address today, but are important enough to our clients that they mention it, that we can get back to later, and we can remind them of that, and they'll know that we care. And we can revisit each one of these at the annual review. even more so today than ever, and becoming almost a necessity, is having a web presence, a website. More and more clients expect it. It shows professionalism and permanence in the business. It helps us identify new clients. It helps us maintain existing clientele. If we're going to grab that 7 times or 20% every year new business, this is a way to help generate that as well. It'll generate revenue, maybe in easy ways, electronic applications, client-facing term quote engines that we can provide and help provide to you via our website program here at Financial Brokerage can help make your web presence very easy. We have a branding program that we're not going to talk about branding as one of our top 20 today. It is one. It's one of the 101. We can help brand an agent or an agency in a way that is much easier, much more affordable for them, and much more professional. So if you're interested in establishing a website or improving your website or making your website work better for you, give us a call here at Financial Brokerage. We can help. Well, we talked about fact finding a little bit. You know, at least 75% of the time in an interview with a client or a new prospect should be the client's talking. So we ought to learn how we can ask questions, open-ended questions, and then button our lips and be quiet for a little while. They'll tell us what they want and what they don't want. And if we focus on facts and feelings and probe a little more deeply, they'll tell us exactly what it is and how they want to be sold and how to make it happen. They'll map the sales interview for us. We've got a lot of good information on fact-finding skills. We've got our Sales Edge article series, the white papers. There is one on fact-finding. There is a brain shark on fact-finding. You ought to pay attention to those. Keep your antenna up. If you're talking, you would have trouble hearing or understanding what they're thinking about. You know, Joe Friday said, "Just the facts, ma'am." It isn't just the facts, and it isn't Joe Friday talking. You won't hear it if you don't listen, so we have to dig deeper. Smart agents, smart people who want to network, they join groups and associations because it's networking on steroids, and it helps us find out about people we didn't know very much about that we might not otherwise meet, and it's a great idea for producers to join groups and associations, where their interests lie. The time commitment can pay for itself by helping build relationships that ultimately lead to new clients or referrals. It helps build credibility with those people because they see the producer in a different light, not just trying to get an appointment or make a sale. It's a super referral source. It helps jumpstart and expand our prospecting efforts. It could be fraternal groups, political groups, volunteers, groups of neighborhood associations, civic sports, the Rotary, the Toastmasters, being a coach for the kids' baseball team. If we get out and are seen in public, people know who we are. Ultimately, they'll know what we do. And when they think about, or someone asks them about who should I talk to about X, they're going to think about us. So joining groups and associations will pay dividends in the long haul. Another thing that we ought to talk about is defining your market. Great thing about our business is we get to decide who we work with, and we can pre-design that up front. This will help us if we do a good analysis of who we have worked with. It might be important to note how well we work with certain elements of the marketplace, especially those that pay higher dividends. A market planning process will help us know who to work with, decide how to go about it, develop the methods, and put the processes in place, and know what we're going to say and do in advance. We do have a sales strategy action planning process here at Financial Brokerage, so if you're interested in that, it's not difficult to do, but if you're interested in that, give us a call because we can help. Every one of us ought to know what our value proposition is. And our value proposition should be a short and sweet description of what it is we do. It ought to be in terms of what is in it for our clients. You've heard of WIFM, what's in it for me. So if we can figure out what the WIFM is for our clients, that could be an element of our value proposition. Some people call it an elevator talk. You know, it's designed to create curiosity and appeal to our ideal clients. There was an example that I heard of a person who, I don't know whether they were on an elevator, but the conversation came up, what kind of work do you do? And the person said, I sell hammers. And it was designed to create curiosity. And so by doing so, the person who sold hammers was able to open the conversation, and when pressed, indicated that he owned a small hand tool company. Hammers were one of his key products, and he called it his hammer talk. So our elevator talk, our value proposition, our hammer talk ought to be this short, sweet description of what we do, what we hope to achieve, that appeals to the ideal client and helps create their curiosity to learn more about what we do. So here's a key one. Follow Lombardi Time. Everybody's heard of Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi was the coach of the Green Bay Packers back in the 60s and very successful. And he was Hall of Fame, obviously, and he recommended a philosophy to his team, his coaches, his players. I'm pretty sure Vince Lombardi did more than just recommend it. And his rule was they needed to form the habit of arriving 15 minutes ahead of the scheduled time for every team meeting, every event, every interview, and so on. And we can apply that to what producers do. You know, half the battle is showing up. Another big thing is making sure that we show up on time. You know, a lot of people really don't, and they're running at loose ends all the time. So he says 15 minutes early. We can use the extra time to, you know, review the fact finder, study, prepare the close, make sure we know where the office or the home is so we don't get lost. We can practice what we want to say before we say it. You know, if we pre-plan what we want to accomplish and how to go about it, we're going to be miles ahead of our competition. And, you know, we're never going to be late. And there's nothing worse than looking like someone who isn't prepared. How many agents have a client management system today? Some do, some don't. I'm not sure I know the percentage, but a client management system is designed to build and maintain clients. It's designed to help a producer stay in contact to make sure that he or she is calling the right people at the right time to talk about the right things. And so we don't have to keep all that information in our head or written down in a file folder, and you know, we've got 500 file folders, and it's impossible to get the information out in a meaningful, real-time sort of way. A client management system is designed to set up automatic and non-automatic follow-ups. Now, this could be a card box, a one-card system. It could be an electronic tool. And there's lots of good ones, and many of them are inexpensive. Some are much easier to use. If you're interested in that kind of thing, we've got some background on that. Give us a call. We can help. You know, the automatic follow-ups are the ones where the system says, I'm supposed to remind you of these kinds of things when they occur, birth dates and so on. And the system does it. And then the non-automatics are the ones that the producer has decided that he wants to make, or she decides that she wants to make sure that we follow up. Someone said, give me a call back in May, you know, after I finished my taxes. Okay, I'll decide that I want to do that. Client management systems also allow us to data mine. Look for when there's a new product that fits a certain type of client, to go find the right people so that we can set up times to talk to them, to talk about this specific topic. A person, a producer who has a strong CRM system, even a paper one, is going to be miles ahead of the one that doesn't. And so if you have some interest in a client management system, give us a call. Wave contact strategy is pretty important. And that's just a means for staying in touch with clientele in the interim between appointments. Pardon me. And it's things that you mail, things that you email, things that you clip, things that you make sure you put in front of them so that they know you're for real, that you're thinking about them. It keeps your name in front of clients. Most strong MDRT level producers will do this at least quarterly. It's newsletters, cards, articles, and then follow up by phone periodically. Have a birthday lunch, an annual review. It helps build credibility. We have access through our OneSource program to newsletters, to magazines that a producer can imprint or have imprinted with their contact information, their own ads. Very affordable. So if you're interested in a wave contact strategy, Richard Wildman says, and he's the guru of wave contacts, he says this is the thing that stands between top level producers in all businesses and those that may be successful but are struggling every day. This is a good way to do that. So again, if you're interested in wave contact strategy, make sure you give us a call because we can help. It's important to understand that there's lots of people who are successful in our business, maybe even other businesses that we could learn something from. You know, again, we said sharpen the saw and commit to lifelong learning. If we're a sponge and we soak up the knowledge of others, business and personal kinds of things, knowledge and skills, we can get this from peers and mentors and managers and home office staff, and we can attend meetings, not just CE. And if we figure out a way to put it to use, and put it to use right away and make sure that we do that, we'll be 100 miles ahead of everyone else. Again, that's how we do this. When we think we know it all, things change, and that's happening all the time. So it's very critical for us to be smart but get better all the time and then put it to use for our clients. Strong producers, MDRT level guys and gals, have a client acquisition system. They know the process that they go through with every new prospect to turn them into a client and then to maintain them. And they develop this as an end-to-end process, and they're able to do that and describe it to their newest clients and their new prospects so that at any given point, they could say, this is where we are in the process. They can put together either a short brochure, pardon me, that describes that, and they can put it on a website if they have their website up and running. They're able to describe it in advance, and then as importantly, they follow it. That's impressive to clients and prospects. They will say, this person is a pro. This person has it figured out. This person knows what they're going to do. The credibility that generates is enormous. So again, if you're interested in how you put together a client acquisition process, give us a call. We can help. We talked about joining clubs and associations. It goes kind of beyond that. You can volunteer your expertise. You can seek out clubs, ones that you don't belong to, groups, associations, and other schools, and so on, and volunteer as a speaker or serve on a committee or become known as an expert on a particular topic, and periodically they may call on you to either speak to their group or provide some information. This will jumpstart the client acquisition and referral gathering process, and for someone who isn't as active networking, this is a way to get started, and you may find groups that you would want to belong to. So if you haven't volunteered your expertise, you're an expert on something. You ought to be known for it. Our last one today is to set meaningful goals, stretch goals, ones that push you to do more and be more. And these are the kinds of goals that says, how much am I going to achieve, not how much do I want to? What will I live and die by? By when? In what manner? And develop an action plan to get after it. The Kinder brothers said break it down into the doable components. Those are the sorts of things that you know how to do today to achieve a goal over a much longer period of time. And then pay attention to those doable components and keep score on how much of it and how well we do on those, because we know if we keep score, the score only gets better. Lots of studies show us that producers with goals achieve more. Producers who write down their goals do even better. And here's another thing. If you share that goal with someone else whose opinion matters, it's even better still. A spouse, a partner, a peer, a manager, a mentor, someone else, somebody whose opinion really matters to you. If you share those goals and say, I'm going to give you permission to hold me accountable for these, and I want you to do it. If we give them that ability, then guess what? Things will turn out very well. So here we go. Here's the things we talked about. Cross-selling on purpose. Conduct annual reviews. Deliver all policies in person. Know the blue chips and do them first, last, and always. Promise a lot and over-deliver. Always get better. Get smarter. You're never done learning. Sharpen the saw. Block your time. Make sure that it includes those blue chips first. Fact find. If you do it on a yellow pad, it's better if you do it with a fact finder. Create a website. Enable your website. Let us help you build your website. Let us help you brand your website. Ask questions in the fact finder or in any interview, and be quiet for a little while and let them talk, because that's when you'll find out how to make the sale, keep the client, cement the relationship, and get the referral. Join groups and associations. This is, again, networking on steroids. Define your market. Figure out who you want to work with, and then figure out a way to do it. You'll be miles ahead. Develop an elevator talk. If you don't have a hammer talk, now's the time. Follow Lombardi Time. Be the on-time person. Be the prepared person. Show up, and show up on time, ready to play. Use a client management system, paper, electronic, or otherwise. It'll help put you in front of the right people at the right time to talk about the right things. And again, that's business. That's bottom line profit for you. Employ what Richard Wildman called a wave contact strategy. We have the mechanisms to make that happen, so give us a call. We can help. Be a sponge. Learn from others. Do it on purpose. Don't just let it happen. Make it happen. Follow a client acquisition process. Develop it. Define it. Make it end-to-end. Be able to describe it to your clientele, and then actually do it. Volunteer your expertise and set goals and share those goals with others and give them the opportunity to be your harshest critics. It will help. Let's see, do we have any questions? Right now we don't have any questions. Let me tell you about one other thing. Next week on Wednesday, Bill Harris will be talking about the best annuity selling month of the year in our next Sales Edge web conference. And that's next Wednesday, March 28th at 10 o'clock Central Time. So don't wait, register today, and if you don't have the invitation, make sure you give us a call because we can help. Again, this is Financial Brokerage, the home for the independent producer. I appreciate your taking the time today to join us, and make sure that you register for one of our upcoming Sales Edge web conferences. Thank you very much.